Today's here. The day I've been thinking about since I knew I drew the tag back 3 months ago. Been losing sleep over it, and today's finally here. We start our drive out to Montana. I'm headed now to pick up my buddy who's going with me, Chet. He's going to be doing some filming. Drew an elk tag for eastern Montana this year and around the Powder River. It's not really known for elk, but a buddy of mine went out there last year, found some elk. So we're going out there this year. Got some access to some good private land. The farmer called me this past week and said, the bulls are here, hurry up and get out here. So I've been losing sleep this whole week just thinking about it. I think I've watched every YouTube video on elk hunting and mule deer hunting I can. I'm going out with an elk and a mule deer tag, so if I stumble upon a good mule deer, obviously not going to let that slip up. But really excited about this trip. Going to video the whole thing for y'all so y'all can see it along with me. This has been a bucket list trip for me for a long time, elk hunting. So y'all stay tuned. This is going to be a really fun trip. Fifth full fuel stop of the trip. We're about an hour out, so this fuel stop will get us there. We're about to go meet the farmer. We trucked through the night till about 2 o'clock, woke up at 4 o'clock, trying to get there this afternoon so we can meet the farmer and he can show us around his farm, and then we can get after it first thing in the morning. So really excited. Hopefully we can see some elk this afternoon. Hopefully we can get some on video, and yeah, it's getting real now out here in God's country. So y'all stay tuned. All right, just made it. Big town of Broadus. Last time I was here, got a deer, chased a doe right through here. So we're gonna get the truck unpacked, go do a little scouting tonight. What are we after this week, Chet?
They're going elk.
What else?
50 plus.
He's setting the standards high, so we gotta fill them. So day one, not day one of the hunt, day one of Montana elk hunt 2022. We get out there. Obviously super excited to get there. We just drove 26 hours. We did it almost straight. We stopped and took a 4-hour nap in some sketch hotel and then got up there, and the farmer wanted to show us around the farm, give us the layout on where we could hunt, where we couldn't hunt, and he laid it all out for us. We rode around with him for about 2 hours. Super great guy. And he turned us loose on 12,000 acres. Said, y'all have at it. Good luck, and let me know if you kill one. So we kind of already pre-scouted on some Onyx apps and other stuff like that, just trying to find where I thought the elk might be. He kind of gave us some hints on where he had been seeing some elk and stuff like that. So we had a high vantage point where we were going to go the first morning, and I told Chet, I said, we're just going to go listen. We're two guys from Georgia. We don't know anything about elk hunting. All beginner stuff. You know, I've just bought my first elk calls this year, and I drove my parents crazy. They're my neighbors, practicing calling in the backyard. Drove my wife crazy. The dogs are sick and tired of hearing cow calls and elk bugles in the backyard. So anyways, get out there and we sit there and listen, and we weren't there 30 minutes and one cracked the bugle off. And I'm like, well, we might push in and just see what's going on. So we ease on up, and as soon as we get to the top of the next ridge, cow call a couple times, and boom, he bugles, and he is a lot closer than we thought he was going to be. He's on the neighbor's property, but he's coming our way. smoked him. I had him around 40 yards, and so I put my rangefinder up, drew back, shot, freaked out, thought we had just smoked a mid 300s bull an hour into our hunt, and started going crazy. Honestly, as you can hear in the video, I sound like a dying cow call, trying to mouth call my cow call after I shot that thing. I was shaking so bad. I've had buck fever on whitetails, but I tell you what, it ain't nothing like buck fever on a big elk. And so this whole time, I'm thinking, all right, I just smoked him. Like I put it right where it was supposed to be. It looked like a perfect heart shot. Thought it was a done deal.
Here's your ear right here, buddy. You just about stepped on it.
It didn't penetrate very far.
It didn't, did it? Came back out that way. Well, you got blood all the way out to there, though.
Yeah, could have ran down.
Went to get the farmer, because he did run back onto the neighbor's property when he ran down the hill. Went and got the farmer. We replayed the footage from my GoPro. Couldn't tell much about the hit, but I was like, I know I got him. I mean, I've smoked him. And turns out he's still running. We tracked him a long time. We had really good blood. Only got about 15 inches of penetration. And the whole time we're tracking, I mean, we got me, the farmer's 2 sons, his wife, Chet, their kids. I mean, we just got a posse out here. Everybody's waiting to just see a big elk right around the corner. And good blood, lost blood, so we just started zigzagging. Me and Chet just started zigzagging. And I actually bumped him in a real thick, small pine tree ridge. He was bedded down, and when I bumped him, I couldn't get another shot at him because all I could literally see was his rack, and he was running through the trees, and ran down the hill, and we went over to where he was bedded, and we had literally been within 50 to 75 yards of this bull multiple times, but this thicket was just so thick, I guess he felt comfortable in it. And so he had 3 beds in this thing. All of them had blood in it. So I was very confident again that, okay, I don't know where I hit him. Obviously I didn't hit him in the heart, but he's bleeding a lot, and I really feel like we're gonna find him. My hopes are up. There's always that doubt in the back of your mind that you're not gonna find him. And turns out we didn't find him. We put a ton of effort into finding this bull. We probably looked for 3 days just for this one bull. And because I definitely did not want to, leave an animal out there if it was dead. I wanted to, respect the animal enough to put a ton of effort into trying to find it. Turns out it just wasn't meant to be with that bull. And I was fortunate enough also to talk with the farmer, and on a lot of places, when you draw blood, that's your animal, whether you find him or not. Farmer was gracious enough to say, if you see another elk, you want to kill him, go ahead, have at it. So that was extremely nice of him to say that. So I knew in the back of my head, I still could kill an elk, but I wanted to switch gears with mule deer and let the elk side of the property where we had been chasing elk just kind of calm down. I mean, we had spent 3 days in there with multiple people, horses, putting our scent down everywhere. But there was a big rain coming on Thursday, and Friday it was supposed to be a west wind, which was perfect for this. So I told Chet the whole time, Friday we're gonna get back in there and see if we can't push in there and find us another elk. So we start mule deer hunting, went as it went. We were watching big deer every day, chasing Casper every day, closing in on him. Seemed like literally every day we saw this deer from Tuesday until Thursday night. And we actually even drove 2 hours away to get a deer stand because we thought we could put it up and kind of triangulate him a little bit and get him killed from a deer stand. That didn't work. So Friday morning comes around, I said, Chet, switching gears back up, going after elk again. Obviously, expectations aren't very high. We had been kind of boogered the whole area up. In tracking my first elk that I shot, that we had no luck recovering. And so as we're walking in, much to our surprise, we hear one bugle, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what are the odds that we actually get a shot at another bull? We have elk hunted our entire lives 1 hour up to this point. So we start our second day of elk hunting, and 5 minutes in, we hear another bugle. So I'm like, oh my gosh, we're about to at least see another one. So the bull is bugling right where I had shot the other bull. So we already had a game plan on how to access the ridge top and everything. So we go up there, cow call, nothing. And I'm like, man, I was like, I bet you these elk kind of get smart like whitetails, and they might not come in bugling their heads off or something like that if they've been pressured a little bit. They know they're being hunted now, so they might come in a little quieter, somewhat like a turkey does around the South, you know. And if they know they're being hunted, they might not gobble at all, but they're still probably coming. And so I said, well, we're gonna play it safe and just set up here. We had a great wind, and so we're sitting on this ridge top and just cow calling about every 5 or 10 minutes, throwing out a few cow calls here, a few baby elk cow calls, fawn calls here, and then all of a sudden I look over Chet's head. I'm literally looking at Chet. He's on Instagram on his phone, and as I'm looking at his phone, he's just down the ridge from me. I look over his head and I just see feet coming up, and I just see a rat. Don't know how big it is. All I know is I'm getting my shot at another elk. And he gave me one shot opportunity. It was kind of quartering to me a little bit, but I was like, I'm gonna take it. He was at 57 yards. I put it right in front of his shoulder. And I was like, oh man, I don't know if that's good enough or not. And he ran out to about, I don't know, 80 or 90 yards. Chet started cow calling. I was trying to get another arrow in, and I put my binoculars up and immediately just see blood, I mean, pouring out of this thing. I'm like, all right, I think we got us one now for sure. So obviously I didn't freak out as much this time as I did the first time, because I was somewhat hesitant, because realizing how much blood my first elk lost and we never found him, I was like, I'm not going to celebrate until we find this bull. Turns out, pretty long track job, honestly. I couldn't believe how much blood this thing was losing. I mean, he ran for probably 300 yards. And there was literally a red carpet of blood the entire way. Like, anybody could have followed this blood trail. It was unbelievable. I've never seen an animal bleed this much. Led us straight to him, found him. It was a great 5x5, my first bull ever. So now I've elk hunted for about 2 hours in my life, and I've shot 2 bulls, only recovered 1, but I'm hooked for life. And man, there ain't nothing better than a good elk hunt. I'm excited to show y'all the story of Casper, the time and effort we put into this deer. That'll be coming in the next episode, Montana hunt number 2 of the year. And boy, was it fun. I had my dad with me and 3 other good buddies and my cousin, and it was an unbelievable trip. So y'all stay tuned for that coming soon.